Hello, so here is my screencast for discussion post 3 and my reflection on this 3SB program and how it prepared me for the edTPA. All right, so in our first semester, we took TE 362, where we did a lot of readings and discussion that covered a lot of really important information that goes into the edTPA. And without really knowing it, we learned very important aspects of teaching, like culturally responsive teaching, using academic language, and differentiation and scaffolding. We also did the lesson plan workshop, which gave us a really good insight into what our lesson plans should look like within a year working with the veteran 3SBers. We also had some video assignments that got us very comfortable using SIBME and just recording and speaking and teaching in front of a camera in general. And of course, we got our first step into the classroom with classroom observations. And history social science methods was a very tough but very helpful class that we took. We learned a lot of useful teaching strategies that are geared towards history social science classrooms, and we had lots of edTPA practice with amazing feedback from our professor, Kelly Lown. We did a lot of lesson plans. We also did formative and summative assessments, as well as a big task 1 practice, which included doing a lesson segment, so 3 to 5 lesson plans, as well as most of the commentary for task 1. And what was great was Kelly gave us a lot of really good feedback and she also gave us what the scores would look like if it was based on the edTPA rubric. We also took TE 954 with Ronald Evans, which gave me a great insight into the history of education as well as the political climate in the field of education. So it gave me a much better overview of just the overall realm of education rather than just the practical applications in my own classroom. This was also a great class with a lot of community building activities that really brought our cohort closer together. For ELD and SEDI methods with Dr. Matas, this class really gave me a great insight into the reality and the struggles of English learners and long-term English learners. We learned more in depth about the stages of English language development and the ELD standards. We also learned a lot of scaffolding and supporting strategies for English learners, and this was especially important and useful for us because, of course, for the edTPA, one of our focus students has to be an English learner for all California candidates. All right, on to our second semester. In our student teaching seminar, we of course did more readings and discussions about effective instruction, classroom management, and other really important aspects that not only are important for the edTPA, but just for good teaching practice in general. We were also able to take a look at some sample edTPA commentary, which was very helpful in preparing for our own next semester. And of course, this was our first semester of student teaching. In history social science methods, we learned more teaching strategies and activities. That's great for history classrooms. We also got more edTPA commentary practice done with, again, great feedback. And then there was also this big focus in what a history social science classroom could look like in the 21st century. And the shift away from simply just memorizing and repeating facts and dates, and more towards getting students to do history, which again is a really big focus in the edTPA. We also took Ed Psych with Dr. Lafferty, where we learned a lot of very useful educational research and theories that we can cite in the edTPA. She also modeled a lot of teaching activities and scaffolding and differentiation strategies, so that was really great. Our online classroom management class, of course, gave us a lot of great management strategies. It also taught us the importance of creating a positive learning environment and ways that we can build that in our classroom, building rapport with our students and respect within our community. I think that this will be especially useful for task 2 on the edTPA. And finally, we had teaching disciplinary literacy with Dr. Weiss, where we learned the importance of incorporating incorporating literacy in every subject, including history, social science. She also taught us a lot of great literacy teaching strategies. This is great because academic language is definitely one of the big focuses on the edTPA, and these strategies will especially be useful for activities involving language demands and accessing complex texts. Lastly, we took a look at a lot of great edTPA materials throughout this program. The first one was the edTPA handbook, which we looked at multiple times, and this provides a detailed explanation of all the edTPA requirements. It has the commentary prompts that we have to answer for each task, the rubrics in which we'll be graded on, and then of course a glossary of all the key terms in the edTPA. The Making Good Choices document has a lot of helpful tips on completing the edTPA and things to consider for each task and rubric. It gave us a great insight on what the scorers are looking for in our submissions. And then lastly, Understanding Rubric Level Progressions document has a detailed explanation of what each rubric is asking for. It has key concepts and terms, and finally a rubric level progression starting from what constitutes as an automatic 1, what a score below 3 looks like, what a level 3 performance looks like, and then how we can go above and beyond to 3s, 4s, and 5s for each rubric. And that is it. Thank you.